Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, I'm bringing you guys Week 9 quarterback start or sit decisions for fantasy football in 2020. In this video, we are going to be going over every single matchup from Thursday night all the way until Monday Night Football and talk about whether I want to start or sit the quarterbacks in each and every single game. So before I get into it, I'd like to ask that if at any point inside of this video you end up having a great time, you end up enjoying, to please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, because not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys win that 2020 Fantasy Football Championship. And real quick before we get into it, I'd like to give you guys a quick word from my friends and my sponsor over at OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is my favorite way to play daily fantasy sports and has this new inventive matchup that I love on their website. It is called the Matchup Shop. Pretty much what it is the player versus player game. You do all this research all week long, figure out, will I start Jerick McKinnon or do I want to roll the dice with JaMychal Hasty? You figure these things out as the week goes on, and Overlay DFS has these matchups for you, plus or minus the spread. Do you want Aaron Rodgers -4 fantasy points, or do you think Nick Mullins could take him over plus the 4 additional fantasy points that he gets in this matchup? So check out OverlayDFS.com, link down below in the description. It's very fun, and it is very, very simple to make some big cash. And we are back. Let's get into it. Week 9 quarterback start or sit decisions. We begin with Thursday Night Football, Packers versus 49ers. Now, this video is getting reported at night before Thursday Night Football, so Wednesday night going into Thursday. I don't know if this game is going to be played, to be completely honest with you guys. So monitor your lineup. If you do have one of these guys that you may want to play in this game, aka Aaron Rodgers, the guy to play in the Packers versus 49ers, make sure that you monitor it up to kickoff. Now, apparently everything's all good and dandy, and they're going to play, but just make sure you monitor it, because tomorrow, if something happens later in the day, they decide to move the game to like Tuesday or something, then you better know, because it may end up getting canceled as well. So just make sure you guys pay attention to that. But I'm going to go ahead and assume this game goes on, and Aaron Rodgers is going to absolutely smack the ever-living shit out of the San Francisco 49ers. This game is not even going to be close. Mr. Discount Double Check is going to be double fisting some beers after this one in his celebratory win, because this is going to be nothing for Aaron Rodgers. I expect a humongous big game out of him here, even though he didn't get his guy Will Fuller that I know deep down Aaron Rodgers wanted. For Big Dick Nick Mullins, he's going to be a sit in this one. Even if the Packers defense got picked apart last week by Dalvin Cook, that's a running back. That wasn't Kirk Cousins. He was not liking it when he was just dumping or handing the ball off every time to Dalvin Cook. So I highly doubt that Nick Mullins is going to be very productive in this matchup. Now to the beginning of the Sunday slate, we got the Giants at the Washington Football Team. And in this one, you cannot feel confident at all in firing up either of these guys in your lineup. This game is going to be a death via 1,000 goddamn needles. You're going to be looking like Julius Caesar when this one is over, because it's going to be so boring. It's going to be very low scoring, and in a low scoring matchup that I don't like at all, I'm going to be sitting down both players. Daniel Jones is going to be on his ass constantly. I'm confidently saying his ass is going to get laid out constantly, because Chase Young and friends are going to be coming for that ass, and Danny Dimes is going to be stumbling in that backfield, just like he did when he was running 70,000 miles an hour apparently a couple weeks ago up against the Philadelphia Eagles. For the Washington Football Team, I am just not bought in to Kyle Allen over there in Washington. I do like Riverboat Ron. I do think Terry McLaurin is worthy of a start in this game, but that does not mean that I think Kyle Allen is going to dot up the Giants defense that looked very tough up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week. Next game here, we got the Chicago Bears and 9-inch Nick Foles versus in Tennessee, Ryan Tannehill. Now, Ryan Tannehill last week benched you straight over a table and raw dogged you without the use of spit, lube, none of that. It was bad, frankly, from Ryan Tannehill. He had the soft serve matchup up against the Cincinnati Bengals, and in reality, it was a soft serve matchup for Joe Burrow, because he was dancing on the grave of Ryan Tannehill and friends in that game. But I expect a big bounce back here. Now, I know what you might be thinking, Nick. How can he bounce back when he just got his shit smacked in by the Cincinnati Bengals? How is he going to fare up against a better defense in the Bears? And it is just my thought that Ryan Tannehill is so good that he won't stay down. He will get right back up here up against the Chicago Bears in a game they desperately need to win to prove to people that they're actually a good team. Same thing goes here for the Bears and 9-inch Nick Foles. Is the leash almost pulled back again? We saw Nick Foles get put in for Kissin' Titties Trubisky. Do we see at some point in the season Nick Foles get pulled out for Big Dick or not big dick, because Nick Foles has the big dick, 9-inch Nick, for kissing titties Mitchell Trubisky? I don't think so. I think Nick Foles plays well in this game, but not for fantasy football, because Nick Foles is prone to throwing some stupid-ass fucking interceptions, and he's prone to not really playing all that good for fantasy. He's just a team guy that elevates the momentum, the morale of the team. He's like, just the motivation factor for him is high, but you're not playing in a motivational point per fucking, I don't even know. I was going with a funny joke there, but you don't get a point per times he motivates the team to do something. So go ahead and sit down, Mr. 9-inch Nick Foles, or point per inch on his cock, because then you're going into each game with 9 free points. Next game, here we got the Lions at the Minnesota Vikings. Now, Matthew Stafford is going to be a start if he plays. There are reports that he's in the Corona protocol. There's also reports that it was fake, like he's fine. What do I take from that? I don't know. I really have no idea. If he plays, I'm starting him because the Vikings defense is so shit. But obviously, if he does not play, you cannot start him. I'm almost 50-50 on if he's going to end up playing or not, because apparently he can come off the COVID protocol because he didn't actually have corona. Just someone around him got it, and now the other person is reported to be fine. So it's a very confusing situation in the NFL how all of this stuff works. So as of right now, I'm going to assume it's 50-50 on if Matthew Stafford plays or not. According to what I looked at, Chase Daniel would be the starter if Matthew Stafford was to go down. Maybe they go back to David Blau, the king from last year when Matthew Stafford went down. Who do they go with? I have no idea, but regardless of who it is, if it's Chase Daniel or if it is going to end up being David Blau, I don't feel confident starting either of those guys up against the Minnesota Vikings. And you like that. Kirk Cousins is not going to be a start for me in this game. I still think they're going to run the ball a heavy amount in this one, especially if they're playing up against not Matthew Stafford, and just put the dagger right in the Detroit Lions' heart via Dalvin Cook. Next matchup here, we got the Panthers at the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Teddy Bridgewater has been very safe thus far this season as a play, but in this matchup, I am not feeling it at all. I think the Kansas City Chiefs defense is just a little too strong for Teddy Two Gloves to get it done in this one. Pat Mahomes is a locked and loaded start on a weekly basis. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts like Miley Cyrus about that one. So I'm going to go ahead here and feel very confident in firing Mr. Patty Mahomes up against the Carolina Panthers. Next game, here we got the Houston Texans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Gardner Minshew has hurt himself. In air quotes, if you're listening on the podcast app. He's not actually hurt. They're just doing this to make sure that they secure the first or second or third pick, whatever pick they want to try and get. They're sitting Gardner down. So Jake Luton is going to get the start, and he is no way in fuck starting on my team. Week 1 of him ever playing in an NFL game when he's a 6th-round pick for the Houston Texans. I like Deshaun Watson in this one, especially this one could get a bit nasty and the Texans could blow him out in this one. I expect Deshaun Watson to be pissed off that they tried to trade away Will Fuller, then they didn't trade away Will Fuller. Deshaun Watson must just be the most angry man on earth, but apparently the Texans facility is now going to be closing, so who knows if this game even happens. Let me know down below what you guys think about all these games and all this corona bullshit happening. Not that corona's a bullshit thing, obviously it's a fucking disease. So what about the bullshit that how it revolves around the NFL, you know? It doesn't really make any sense how the rules work, if I'm being completely honest with you. And I read the rules multiple times, and they just seem to get shifted like Avatar: The Last fucking Airbender. So next game here, we got the Baltimore Ravens at the Indianapolis Colts. And Lamar Jackson sucked some absolute hog last week. When he plays up against a team that has a semblance of skill, this man crumbles like a goddamn cookie. Now, I understand the Indianapolis Colts have a good record, but I think Lamar Jackson hits him with the bounce back here and puts up a very solid game here up against the Indianapolis Colts. He did throw a decent amount of interceptions last week, but I think he's going to be much better with the ball this week. Phillip Rivers, very good with his 2 balls at getting his wife pregnant for 11 million times, but he hasn't been very good with the football this season. He's played just about all right, but I think if they had any other quarterback not named Phillip Rivers, they would be doing much better. So Phillip Rivers is a good, all right quarterback for the NFL, but not a guy I'm looking to start in fantasy football, especially since I feel like they may run the ball 7 zillion goddamn times. Next game here, we got the Seattle Seahawks at the Buffalo Bills. And in this one, I am going to go ahead and start Mr. Russell Wilson in this matchup. Russell Wilson thus far this season has been a upper echelon of quarterback in fantasy football. This guy has just been a beast week in and week out. And here up against the Buffalo Bills, whose defense has been struggling recently. I think Russell Wilson gets it done here in a decently high-scoring game. Why is it going to be high-scoring? The Buffalo Bills offense looks deflated like a football in New England. I say nay. like a horse because Josh Allen is playing up against one of the worst defenses in the NFL in the Seattle Seahawks. Josh Allen, while he hasn't looked all that great, had played up against the Jets where he didn't really have to do anything and has just been coasting through the season, doing all right. But here is a big must-win matchup, must prove it to themselves for the Buffalo Bills, and I think Josh Allen is going to be slinging the pigskin all over the yard up against the Seattle Seahawks, and I expect a big bounce-back game for Joshy Allen in this one. Next game, here we got the Broncos at the Atlanta Falcons. Horsecock Drew Lock versus Matty Ice. Matty Ice finally didn't choke a lead. Huge round of applause like my name was Jason Garrett. I was shell-shocked that he somehow didn't choke that game away, but why? Because what happens when teams are just that good at choking, eventually they just stop, and now the Falcons are probably going to go on some type of run where they win like 8 games in a row somehow because they magically stop the goddamn bleeding, and I think Matt Ryan is going to stab the Denver Broncos like a guy who rode away in the Bronco stabbed his wife. So Matt Ryan is going to go ahead and ball out in this one. It's Matty Ice time this week in Atlanta. I'm going to be sitting down Horsecock Drew Lock, but I actually think he's a perfectly fine streamer for this week up against the Atlanta Falcons, but I don't expect some type of top 10 or top 12 potential out of him. Just like a guy that finishes his quarterback 16, that if you are in a shit tier situation and you can pick him up, there's a lot worse players than Horsecock Drew Lock. Next game here, we got the Las Vegas Raiders at the LA Chargers. Now, before we get into this breakdown of the colossal quarterbacks, please make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. If you do end up enjoying, I would really appreciate that. And if you guys saw me fucking jump a little bit, it's because someone subscribed to the channel and it makes a noise when that happens. So the Raiders at the LA Chargers. I like both quarterbacks in this matchup. We'll start off with who may end up being the Rookie of the Year, unless Tua wins, which I think he will because he's the best out of all of them. Winky face. As a Dolphins fan, I just hope that turns out to be true. So, Justin Herbert has looked very good thus far this season, but the defense has failed them, just like Anakin failed Obi-Wan in Revenge of the Sith by turning into an evil motherfucker. Justin Herbert's defense has turned evil into the Sith on his ass because for some reason, they are choking so hard. They have blown 3 or 4 17-point leads. 17-point leads. Are they the Atlanta Chargers? The way this is going is just absolutely crazy. But Justin Herbert, Horsecock Herbert, has been balling out thus far this whole time. And here up against the Raiders, I think we could see a back and forth affair from both teams. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Nick, the Raiders held the Browns to scoring like 6 points last week. But that's because in that game, it was snowing, it was raining, it was sleeting, there was cats and dogs flying down from the fucking sky. As well as I'm concerned, there was a hurricane tortilla flying through that game. It was windy as fuck. I didn't expect anything to happen out of those. Well, I did expect something to happen until I saw the game. I was like, holy shit, this is out of some movie. That's how crazy it was looking. So that's why Derek Carr's the defense for the Raiders didn't really do anything. Why Derek Carr didn't really do anything. Justin Herbert looks very good in this matchup. I like him as a potential top 5 go at the QB position for this week. Derek Carr looks good as well. The Chargers defense, like I said, just crumbles like a goddamn cookie. And if you give a mouse a cookie and that mouse's name is Derek Carr, he's going to eat like his name is Ezekiel Elliott. Next game here, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Dallas Cowboys. What a wonderful matchup. Amazing that Jerry's World somehow has devised that the whole country, unless you live in a part of Florida or a part of Arizona, has to watch this game at 4 o'clock on CBS, when in reality the Dolphins versus the Arizona Cardinals should be on live TV. That's just me, as a Dolphins fan, getting a bit pissed here, but I'm sure none of you guys want to watch, if you're not watching Red Zone, want to watch the Dallas fucking Cowboys play again. This game is going to be a travesty for the Cowboys. They got Cooper Rush. They got Garrett Gilbert. I'd rather put Gilbert fucking Godfrey out there and have him try to slig the pigskin because I have no idea what's going to happen. They should have just played our main man, our favorite Italiano quarterback, Gucci Danucci, as the quarterback because I don't understand what's going to happen. Apparently, Ben DiNucci may end up playing as well. This is just a complete and utter shit show in Dallas. She's not going to want anything to do with them in this one for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like Mr. Big Ben Roethlisberger in this matchup. Not that I think Big Ben is the Big Ben of the past, but I think this Dallas Cowboys defense is so fucking bad that Big Ben's going to sling the pigskin all over him. Next game, here we got my Miami Dolphins. Shout out to Dan Marino in the background going up against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this is a big prove-it game for Tua Tagovailoa. His first start, they railroaded the Rams. Didn't even have a chance to really throw the ball. He only threw it about 22 times in that matchup. This game is going to be the polar opposite unless the Dolphins defense steps up big time. But even if the Dolphins defense is on their shit, little man Kyler Murray, Mr. 5'6", is going to be eviscerating the defense by some fucking crazy juke moves like he's playing goddamn Madden. That's how good Kyler Murray is. So I full on expect, even up against the Dolphins defense that railed Jared Goff and friends last week, I think Kyler Murray is going to be able to play well as likely a top 5 quarterback on the week. For Tua, this is a prove-it game. Would I be surprised if Tua dropped a do-si-do, a nice healthy load like the Cardinals were Mia Malkova, and he is the man pounding them? I think that could happen. But could get out of hand if the Cardinals start scoring a zillion points, and Tua might look bad. This is Tua's second ever game. I'm a Dolphins fan. I hope Tua plays good, but I don't put any bias into these videos. I don't just suck the fucking Dolphins off and make you feel like a dumbass because I told you to start Tua. So start him at your own risk if you want. My flying Hawaiian Tua Tagovailoa will be a sit for me this week, but I hope he plays very nice like a Borat. Sunday Night Football, we got the Saints at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady. For some reason, I can never fucking remember where these team names are from. Even though I fully know well that Tampa Bay is the Buccaneers, I just always somehow say the wrong thing. Like a couple videos ago, I said the Chicago Packers, which just makes absolutely zero sense. New Orleans Saints at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like Tampa Bay Tom Brady in this matchup. The first time these two teams played, the Saints bent the Buccaneers over and made them call out for mercy. But now Tampa Bay Tom Brady is coming back with vengeance, and I think he plays good, considering he's looked pretty good the last couple of weeks for fantasy football. Drew Brees is going to need a revitalization of Michael Thomas to pump some life into this motherfucker, and I'm not sure he will play in this game. I think Drew Brees is going to play. Michael Thomas, I'm not sure if he's going to play. And the Bucs defense has looked feisty this season, so I'm a bit scared for Mr. Drew Brees. Final game here. What an excellent cap off to the week. The Patriots at the Jets. The game no one in their right fucking mind wants to watch. No one. Cam Newton looks atrocious. Sit him. This is such an easy matchup, but sit him. Doesn't have Julian Edelman. Has all these garbage-ass wide receivers, so don't feel comfortable starting Cam Newton. I wouldn't be surprised if this man literally bitch-slapped, forehand, backhand, Floyd Mayweather, 1-2 Mayweather type deal on the Jets, but I don't feel confident in it at all, so I'm going to tell you to sit him. And for Sammy Mano, he may be seeing ghosts because this is the game from last year where Sam Darnold saw those ghosts. Spooky. It always gets a little bit spooky around Halloween times. Thank you guys all for watching this video. If you did end up enjoying, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below because not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys win that 2020 Fantasy Football Championship. Check out Overlay DFS as well. I love you all. Stay safe. I'll see you beautiful bastards in a couple of hours with another video. And if Thursday Night Football plays, there will be a live stream as well. I love you all. Stay safe as always. Good boy.